Hey everybody, we're doing another Necromancer solo guide here today. Um, this one is going to be for the Crypt of Decay. So as we get started, again, as in the last video, just some things to go over. I am currently on the Lockjaw server, and we are on the Gates of Discord expansion currently. So what that means is I have access to things like Nightfire. I actually don't have all of my spells, unfortunately. Knight's Beckon, which is a duration tap, I don't have yet, so I'll be using Saren's Kiss instead. If you were just doing this in Planes of Power, still completely doable. You just use Funeral Pyre instead of Knight's Fire on this. So my spell load up, we're going to keep a life tap, we're going to go with Knight's Fire. Here we're going to use a Dispel. We're going to use Shackle Undead, which is an undead slow. And we're of course going to have our Charm spell, which is Word of Terrace. Now we'll be swapping out a Null Magic for some other buffs and things later on, as you will see. I do have some leftover raid buffs. I'm just going to keep those on because it will make it a little bit easier. Nothing too fancy. J-Boots, Balance, Quickening, and Haste will actually come in handy as the Necromancer, which we'll get to in a second. This is Levitation from Wand, Mount Blessing. Having a mount, we won't actually be able to use our mount inside, but we will be able to keep that buff. AC buff, Virtue, Self buff, and then Aura of Reverence, which is a spellcasting buff. I do have my summon pet up. We actually will not be using them, but so this is Crypt of Decay. You have to be level 55 to get in here. I believe with just Planes of Power you actually have to go through the flagging process, but because Gates of Discord is out, you can get into Crypt of Decay at level 55 without a key or anything. You cannot get down to the lower levels without a flag. You can see I'm not flagged for that. So what we'll be doing here, I'm going to up the map and kind of give you an idea, is this green area here on the map. Let's see if we can't see it quite with our height filter, but this area is where we'll start and go up into the chapel with all the undead. So a couple things to keep in mind here. We are going to suspend our pet. So we can charm a new one. Good things to have: Circlet of Shadow, and then this AA is Innate Invis versus Undead. So I can find it here. Innate Invis versus Undead. 10 is actually for the second rank, which is not out till the Broken Mirror. So it's basically the same thing as your Circlet, only versus Undead. Okay, and we see here we've got a Magus right up here. It's going to cause us a little trouble. Right up here is going to be the area where it's going to be one of the most difficult areas, surprisingly, because you've got normal invisible mobs and then undead mobs up there. They do path away eventually. As we wait for them, I'll go over some other strategies for this camp. One item that is key to this camp is an Orb of Tashan. This is going to make or break this camp. If you don't have this, this is going to be very, very difficult, and I'll show you exactly why. So we're actually just going to put that in our primary slot. You can use the Bandolier. I just keep it on My main hand does have some good stats on it. However, we're going to be using this at least once every 15 minutes, if not more. So we're just going to keep that on. It is a melee proc, which means you do have to hit stuff, which is why having Balance Quickening on is a benefit for this. So we're going to invis up, and we're going to come up here. Now, one key thing to keep in mind is normally all of this stuff does not see invis. However, some of it does. You can see that one right there, it's on Viz. We're just going to run back to the entrance and feign death. And the same thing goes for the undead. Randomly, some of the undead will see Invis versus undead. It's not any specific type of mob. It's not any specific location. It just kind of happens randomly. Alright, so as you saw if you were watching, the Death Magus just walked away. I'll try to get up here again. Looks like it was a foul pustling for sauce. So I'm going to try to figure out which one it is. Might have just been a fluke. Might have just been a fluke. Or invis dropped. Okay. I'm going to show you here the difference that the Orb of Tashan makes. Actually, I am not going to start here. So once we're up here, I'll tell you in a minute why I'm not going to start here, but I'm going to switch over to Invis versus Dead. Do a couple quick cons, make sure nobody sees Invis up here. Looks like we're okay. A little bit of lag going on. The reason I'm not going to start up here, alright, so that Firebone Magus, you can see, started to attack. So I will be starting up here because I've got to get rid of them. There's a named up there that does not see versus undead, but it limits the amount of mobs that we can pull. So this is charming without the Orb of Tashan. And the reason I'm doing this is because I don't really have time to get him slowed and everything and tashed before I charm, because I'm going to get multiple ads here. So we're going to start off with a charm. I'm going to have him attack our magus there. Again, I'm using my elemental pants for pyro. I'm going to slow the mob. I'm going to get an ad here. We'll just root. Got to resist on root, so we'll just slow him. Our pet should be okay. I'm not going to haste my pet yet, because I'm not actually going to keep this pet until I can charm it. Now normally my pet would have broken by now. This pet is actually lasting pretty long for not being tashed. You normally only get a couple seconds out of it. So these corrupted knights are the ones you want to charm. The priests are nice when our pet gets low, and we'll get into that in a minute. We can use Wake the Dead on a priest, which will actually heal our pet for us. I've got my shield dropping. We might actually go ahead and use this guy here in a second. And reapply dots. The priests do heal. It's a little bit obnoxious. My recommendation is always just take your time. So there we see the charm broke. I'm not going to attach them just yet. The biggest tool in your arsenal is your shackle undead, your slow. That's going to really make a difference on how long your pet lasts and how long these actually die. The kryptonite does stun, so occasionally you'll get lucky and not have to do a whole lot or all of this lengthy killing of the priest. Again, I'm just being patient, waiting for him to die. And I could speed this up. I don't want to use too much mana. This is not a mana intensive camp. While we're waiting for him to die over and over. Some of the benefits of this camp is that it's not mana intensive. You can do a very, very small mana pool. And it is actually ridiculously good money. So my bags are basically empty right now. Those are my clickies and potions. Potions will come in handy when your charm breaks. The nodding blue lily that is required to make this actually drops here, so keep for those. Okay, so now my pet, we've got some time, we've got some room here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and break my pet and slow him. And the reason we're doing this is because, you can see my health going up pretty quick, he just kind of destroys me. I'm just going to turn auto attack on until I can get a Tash proc. Once I get my Tash proc, I'm going to use my Dispel, and immediately after, I'm going to Charm. Okay, so that dispels the slow. We've got our Charm. Now this Charm is going to last a lot longer than our previous Charm did. So now we can go ahead and haste. You see it took me down quite a chunk of hit points there. That's where these potions come in quite in handy. I'm actually going to rebuff myself. My hit point buff fell off. Hit points are your friend. My recommended AAs after Invis vs Undead is to do innate natural durability, or whatever it's called. It gives you a lot more hit points. I think rank 2 was 200. I think rank 3 actually put me up about 500 hit points. Anyway, we're going to reload Dispel because we're going to do this every single time our charm breaks or our Tash runs out. Okay, so we're going to come up here. I'm keeping them on follow and Gritter hold. Now I have heard of some techniques about using Pet Feign Death to heal your pets. I haven't actually tried this. So I'm not going to go over that. I'll give it some shots and do another video later about it. These do pull mostly solo. That one, of course, didn't. I'm going to go ahead and slow both of these. And when we pull is already slowed, we're just going to root him. And get out of the way so it's not beating on us. Use our heal over time, our life tap over time. You see how fast these are dying now that your pet has haste, and the other mobs are slowed. Okay, so here's an example of some loot. Not quite sure how much this sells for. We've got a diamond and our nodding blue lily that you do not want to sell. Make a shaman friend, an alchemist. And they will love you. You actually get the trivial on those is like 350. However, you get 5 potions per nodding blue lily on a success. So that right there would be 10 potions. And you will find once you have these, you will burn through them very quickly. Some other useful AAs to have, I've got Men Companion. That's about 20% on these. It is handy to have. It won't heal them all the way, but keeps them alive just for a little bit longer. We've got an ad, we'll just slow it, put our pet on it. I also don't have my Lich up, so we'll do that real quick. I was wondering why I was getting low on mana. Definitely helps. This is Seduction of Saren. You can see right now my combat mana regen. If I sit down, we're at 45. Sit down, we're at 95, so that's 50 mana regen there. Super beneficial to have. Don't forget that like I did. Alright, so we also just got an AA point. So that puts us at 0, which will be nice to gauge how much experience we get per kill here. And we'll also show you how to heal using a priest. Okay, like I said, most of these pull solo. I don't waste a lot of mana with dots, because the pet does its job pretty well, just using the elemental. And you'll see this does a lot faster than our other one did because our pet has haste. I actually don't like the skeleton illusion, so we're going to take that off. Now, with this being here, it might not work because, yeah, it automatically disappeared. We'll try it anyway. You might end up getting a different mob, but Wake the Dead uses the closest corpse to you and wakes it as a pet. That corpse is already gone. I don't think this will work. No, it didn't, because the corpse is gone. So what you do is you use Wake the Dead right there. You have to have an enemy targeted to use it. Otherwise, you'll get... you must select a target for this spell. What happens then is your pet will actually hit the mob like a second pet. But once your pet is below 50%, it will actually start healing your pet, which is really nice. It doesn't last a whole long time, but get some extra heals off on your pet. Whatever you do, do not use your pet heal. You do have Touch of Death at this point, which will heal your pet about, it's like 1100, 1200. Don't do that. I know you're thinking, well, why not? Why don't I want to heal my pet? It makes things easier. It will, your pet heal actually does cure disease and poison, things like that. This Tash is disease based, so it will cure Tash, and then you'll have a broken pet, and then you'll be very sad. So we've got about 30%. That's still plenty for a couple more kills here. I'm just using Saren's Kiss when I get low on life at all. I haven't really been sitting down too much, but my mana is still going up. Forgot to check on AA%, so right now we're at 19, goes to 25, so that's 6% per mob, with very little effort. Now, as we come around here, we've got Caprin Deatharn. He is a boss. You do not want to try to kill him. So this Death Knight will actually be our last pull in this area. If we pull the other ones up there, we'll pull Caprin. He summons 2 level 60 mobs that are unmessable, unsnarable, unrootable. So probably won't be able to kill him, but you can. Good job. I can't. Alright, once this last one is dead, we're going to go ahead and click off our pet haste. break our pet. You can put him on guard somewhere here, make this a little bit easier on ourselves. Target him, click off en route. Don't seem to matter whether, usually hits me anyway. We're going to put on our tap over time, couple clicky dots, and for the sake of time we'll throw one more on there. I always keep J-Boots in the first slot. It's just a habit I like to do. You never know when you're going to run into a undead mob. Plus you can't be on your mount here, so the extra speed might help a little bit. Okay, so that's the first area. I'm going to go ahead and pop in Viz vs Undead. Double check all of these. What I'm doing is just conning them, making sure they're indifferent. Capron does not see versus Undead. Doesn't mean any of these don't. You don't want to get one of these to aggro you right near Capron. That's not a happy thing to happen. Alright, so the next one I usually do is right there, but that's a Magus and I don't want a Magus. I do have some Pathers in here. We're actually going to go for this guy here. The aggro radius is pretty small. Again, we're going to start off with a slow. Start our melee. Here, I'm a little bit low on life. I'm going to pop a pot. I think this Corrupted Knight actually paths, which might cause us some trouble if he starts to path back before I can get this off. See my health going up with just that one pot. Very nice to have as long as it's slowed. My one-hand blunt skill is not amazing. I think it's like 115. That's why it's taking a minute for this to proc. Zoom out so we don't get motion sickness from this. Now it's taking a little bit longer time. I'm gonna go ahead and tap him because my potion is on cooldown, just to keep my life topped off, just in case one of the Pathers comes in. Someday this will proc. Really bad luck right now. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and annul magic. Immediately charm, because he's not slowed anymore. Alright. Change that to our pet haste. Taps off, do our haste. You can see with the mob not slowed how much of a difference it makes. The pet takes a lot more damage. Change this back to our dispel. Always pull with slow. I always pull with slow. Just because it's generally the only thing I put on them. I'm going to go ahead and use some life taps. Getting this low on life is a little scary if my pet were to break because he's hasted. It's bad news if this Death Knight resisted slow and then my pet broke, then I'd really be in some trouble, especially if I were lower life. Now that we're on this side of Capron, we can actually go ahead and pull a couple in this room right behind him. You will get quite a few resists with slow. It is only a level 38 spell. Usually only 1 or 2 resists. Mend Companion is back up. Go ahead and pop that. Just keeps our pet viable for a little bit longer. When our pet runs low on life, excellent. Tap target as an attack. Let's see if he goes after someone. When your pet gets low on life, you can always switch out pets. Just break your pet, root, dot down, nuke it down, whatever you feel works best for you. I usually will wait till I have a different pet in mind before I break. Again, you want the Corrupted Knights as your pets. They last a lot longer. Okay, we're gonna kill this Magus, then we're gonna kill a Priest, and then immediately, well, we don't have a target, so what we're probably gonna do is pull the Priest over here. Oh, we've got another Priest. Perfect. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this Priest over here. And as soon as this priest is dead, we're going to use Wake the Dead on this priest. I'm watching the health over here. It does heal. Looks like it got interrupted that time. I'm going to go ahead and pull this second priest. Nope. He healed. Give him a little bit of help here. Go ahead and pull the second priest. I'll let it just beat on me here for a second. Oh, and we've got another Death Knight. So we're just going to root him. Actually, going to put the pet on him. We're going to use Wake the Dead, which is going to wake this priest here as our pet. And we've got another ad. So even with a lot of ads, as long as we can keep these guys slowed, they're pretty harmless. And we've got our priest up, which is going to heal our pet as soon as he gets under 50%. I'll go ahead and just life tap tank these two. They're real wusses when they're slowed. If they're not slowed, I would be very, very much dead. Okay, because I have pet hold on, it's not going to automatically attack the next mob. So I have to do that manually. I want my pet to get under 50% as soon as possible. So I'm actually going to have him attack. Well, it doesn't matter now. My Wake the Dead pet is gone. So we'll change it back to this one. Some dots. And move on. 2 priests is going to be a little tough, because they both heal. Alright. So there you go. 3 ads. Still easy peasy. So just a minute ago you saw we caught an AA. We're just about to get another one here in the next kill or two. Very fast experience, very good loot. I'm going to continue on with the rest of this room. This is the basic strategy. You can continue to stay and watch with me as I clear. Things like this is a little bit of a tricky pull, but we will be clearing nearly the entire chapel in this video. So you're welcome to stay and watch, but that is the basic strategy that you'll use for the rest of the dungeon. Again, if you have any questions, comments, feel like I'm not doing something properly, feel free to drop me a comment. If you have a specific guide you'd like to see on how I would do something, let me know. Or why I do certain things. Some questions I've got so far is what are my abilities and items. This is the wand of impressibility. I can't even read that. There's our AA. Imperceptibility. It's the shrink wand out of the deep. So what we're doing here is just trying to pull as many single as we can. What we're probably going to do is try to use one of these corrupt knights for our next pet. Looks like I'm lagging a little bit here. There we go. We're going to end up having a few ads. This elite is technically named. He drops kind of some garbage loot piece for Epic 2.0. That's the only one I'm worried about with my pet's health being so low. Okay. We've got 2 names up. And I'm lagging a bit here. So we're going to go ahead and stop this video here because I'm lagging. There we go. Finally get my cons off. Well, let's keep it rolling just so you can see how we can do some of these names here. So it's going to be just a little tricky. I might... Alright, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and click off our pet haste. I'm going to break him. So what's going to happen as I pull any one of those 4 over there, I will get at least 3, if not all 4. So what I'm planning on doing is charming the closest knight to me. He won't be slowed or attached. So it's a bit of a risk. And we're going to try to burn down the names as fast as we can. I'm actually going to load up a second dot here. Well, we've got mana. Let's actually use Horror. This is a Lost Dungeons of Norath spell, but it does a lot of damage over a small amount of time. Alright. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to charm this guy. We will try to root this guy. I don't think this knight will come. So we'll just have these 2 to deal with. Oh, that worked so perfectly. I was not expecting that to work that well. Okay. So what we're going to do now is just pull him back. We won't need that. We'll load back up our Dispel. Now we've got him solo. Break. Charm. Use the circlet to break charm. I'm going to slow him. Resisted. Use a potion. There we go. Same thing as everything else. And once we have a fresh pet, those 2 names are not going to be a problem at all. Hopefully our Tash will go off a little bit sooner this time than it did last time. There we go. Dispel. Recharm. And haste. I think I am going to load up that second dot just to be safe. It's very good for bursting things down. Okay. So what we're going to do, pull this knight was slow, and he came solo. Easy peasy. I was not expecting that. These names do summon, as you can see, but your pet will get aggro very quickly. It's a much better tank than you are. So load them up with dots. Our horror, see here, my horror does 519 a tick, 532, 567. It's a good little dot. The focus effects that are going off, see, are my mask. It's a Discord mask. I believe my robe actually does something very similar, yeah, to the mask. Exactly the same. So if I didn't have the mask, the robe is elemental from time, so it'll provide the same damage bonus. Put on our pet hold, make sure our pet doesn't rush in. Oh, he's gonna sit there and cast on me. That's why I prefer a self buff over, say, focus in this instance, because your self buff does provide magic resist. Helps a lot with not getting rooted and nuked by these guys. You'll notice that the other name did not drop anything decent. They do that sometimes. Mostly they drop a no-drop quest item. They can drop other items as well. Again, you can see I'm using hardly any mana for this at all. The more mana you use, obviously, the faster they're going to die, the less damage your pet is going to take. The longer you can keep them, the more you can do. So fairly simple camp. I'm assuming this guy's probably unstunnable. Which is why he's getting so many heals off. Got that lag coming back again. There we go. Got a charm break while I'm lagging. So awesome. There we go. Got everything back, taken care of. I said these potions are invaluable for soloing in here. Used parchment and a raw diamond. Raw diamonds are actually pretty valuable selling to other players. A lag going on today. Okay, so now we've got those two rooms cleared. We've got the main chapel. Most of these are single pulls. Single, single, single. There's one more in that room. There's also single. these two and one other will all come as 3, which is the only hard part. So we'll actually do this one, and then we'll do those 3, so you don't have to wait for me to kill all this stuff in order to see. If you're still watching, fantastic, you'll have a leg up. If you're not, then you won't be hearing me talk to you about this. So I'm gonna get this pather here. A lot of people use like to you will have to apply pet hold after every single charm break. A lot of people like to guard their pet farther away in case it breaks. It doesn't seem to matter much to me. I don't seem to have a leg up because if I guard him farther away and he breaks, he comes after me, he's going to stun me the first swing he does anyway. So that's just my personal opinion. I'll burn these down pretty quick. That one's going down pretty fast. You are able to chain pull these pretty easily. If you happen to pull more like a priest, you can always root them. Another good thing to use that I generally use, I don't know why I didn't this time while you're breaking in, is your Steadfast Servant, which is a veteran AA if you have veteran rewards enabled. He'll heal you, he'll haste you. Very, very helpful in this camp. A little bit higher risk. Alright, so you can see they have a very low aggro range. So what we're going to do, because I know at least 3 are going to come, we're going to go ahead and start off by rooting one. And we were lucky enough to only get 2. That's fantastic. Okay, so as soon as that one is slowed, I'm going to dot them up. Whenever I get multiples, I always use dots, simply because you never know what's going to happen with root and such. Always best just to get them dead as fast as possible. Now, if you go ahead and dot this rooted one up, he will start dying faster. However, you're going to have some issues with aggro. Okay. My knight picked it up real easily until I healed it. It had low health aggro, and now I've got aggro. When that happens, I usually just root them, let the pet finish it off. Okay. So up here we'll also get another 2 or 3 pull, just depending. I'm going to clear out this area down here first. Just to give me some room. This little cubby is kind of a safe area if you want to come straight into this room and find something to charm. This cubby is generally the best place to do it. I do want to find a priest, so I'll put that one right there, because my pet is getting a little low. Again, super nice because almost all of these come solo. Very few exceptions. Alright, so again, when we want to heal with our priest using Wake the Dead, dot him up real good, and we're going to chain pull on it. By that I mean we're going to pull before it's dead to make sure we've got a mob, because we have to have a mob targeted for Wake the Dead. There's a help here. Okay, and immediately use Wake the Dead. And it disappeared too fast. I have auto loot on, which is why the corpses disappear so fast. Just take that off, gives you a little bit more time to use the Wake the Dead. I'm not super concerned about it. This is going to be tricky though, because my pet is so low on life, and these are going to come with at least 3. So I have to do some... I should have rooted the Death Knight instead of the Magus. So my pet just got demolished there. Just going to quickly charm the Death Knight to have a pet. Not permanent, we'll probably take this Corrupt Knight. I did root this one, so we're going to want to slow him. Which didn't work. We actually want to slow this guy probably first, since he's destroying our Death Knight. Very resistant. I generally will only resist once. Roots falling off. Sometimes I'll resist 2 or 3 times and get pretty annoying. I find the Death Knights are pretty weak if I'm gonna charm something else, though they do have better melee than mages who just sits and casts the entire time, which can be good, but they're not super lethal. When you have something over here, I don't want to send my pet in because I don't want to risk him doing anything. I will just life tap, which is a nuke, which generally breaks as enough. Get it back here because I've got so much aggro. We're going to root it. And while they duke it out over here, I'm actually going to work on slowing my next pet. Slowing and tashing. Forgot to put Dispel up. He is slowed, so it shouldn't be a problem. Wait for him to swing. Matter spell. Start trying to tash. And there we go. Alright, so now we've got our new pet, and we have to dispel our old pet before we didn't haste it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And we've got a full life Corrupted Knight. There's our third AA. I think we got this one already, yep. And as we come over to this area, there's a named in this room right here that I have not even tried to kill. I looked him up. He's like level 60 or 65 or 70. I don't know. He's got to be at least 70. He's red onto me, so I have not even tried him. I don't know if he summons ads or not, but there is 2 other mobs in that room with him. We'll give him a little peek here. Show ya how you just leave him alone. There are 2 other mobs. If he was dead, I don't know what his respawn is. I'd imagine it's fairly long. I remember back when I did this in the original days, we could 1 group them, but again, you've got 1 mob there, 1 mob there, and that's it. So 2 mobs. I don't feel like it's really worth it to risk it. You're looking at least 3 when you try to kill them. You can root them, try to solo them. I prefer to just leave them alone. There's plenty of other mobs, as you can see. We've got our pather here starting from the other room. Just use tab over time to keep your life up. Obviously, when not talking and explaining things, this goes a little bit faster, as I usually use more dots, more focused on sitting down. I've got more mana. This is our last room in here. Couple slow resists. There we go. So one thing I do want to try as I get the actually I can probably try it now. So this is Companion's Discipline, rank 2 through 4 is Feigned Death. And what I've heard is that, like the hotkeys will kill our next guy here. If you do that, it will actually heal your pet. Let's go ahead and see how this works. I don't even know if it works with charmed pets or if it's just your summoned pet. We'll find out. I'll read a little bit more about it here. It was under Companion's Discipline. Allows your pet to feign death with 25 blah 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 chance. Let's see what happens. Did I not spell it right? Pet F-E-I-G-N. F-E-I-G-N. I wonder if we need to... Alright. Take hold. There we go. Slash pet feign. That's what it says to do. Allows you slash pet feign. Not working. Make sure I spelled it right. F-E-I-G-N. Nope. Must not work on this guy. Okay, well, this is the last mob in our clear. We got quite a few AAs here. We got 3 additional and a half. I don't know what I started with, that it wasn't paying attention. But we're going to go ahead and conclude our video here. Hope everybody learned a lot. Again, leave me comments, questions, and go ahead and subscribe.